Back to the next video. In today's video I will show you how to use SwiftData in React Native's new architecture without using any third-party library. So if you don't know what SwiftData is, so SwiftData is a replacement for core data. Now what is core data? So both SwiftData and core data, what it does is that it is a equivalent of SQLite. So suppose you want to store large amount of data inside your mobile app, so for that we use SwiftData and core data, but the APIs were of core data were extremely not easy to write, or even if you copy pasted from other project, like it would take a minute to realize okay what this thing is doing or what that thing is doing. But with help of SwiftData, Apple has made it extremely easy to store large amount of data inside your mobile app. So the only requirement for SwiftData is that the minimum deployment target should be iOS 17 and you should be using Xcode 15. Otherwise this won't work. So let's get started. As usual, I have created a React Native project and I will first show you guys the demo. So I have just a text field over here and I have 4 buttons: add item, update item, delete item and read item. So I will add some text inside our text field. So I will add task 1. I will click on add item, and as you can see there is a flat list below the read item button. So once I add some item, it gets updated inside the flat list. So I will add another task, add item. Okay, so task 2 is added. Now I will delete task 2. So what I'm doing is, whatever you have entered inside the text field, I'm just taking that string and looping over our list to check whether such kind of a task exists or not. So I will clicking on delete item will delete task 2. Will click on delete. Okay, so it has deleted. I will add again. So it has added. Now I will click on update item. So for update item, what logic I have written is that whatever you have written inside the text field, it will update it with some like hard coded text. So I think, so I will update. So here you can see, hello everyone, I am updated text. And read item, we are already reading it, but I have just added this read item as well in case you are interested. So yeah, if I now try to, what is this, if I now try to refresh it, you can see that the data is persisted. So yeah, let's get started. As usual, create a React Native project, and SwiftData is only for iOS, so we'll be only concentrating on iOS. Next, you have to enable the new architecture. So open your terminal, cd to your iOS directory, and then run this command. So this will enable the new architecture for you. Next, what you have to do is, so we will be using turbo modules for this. So firstly, you will have to create this folder called rtn my SwiftData. Next, inside that I have created package.json file and I have copied everything from the documentation of turbo modules. Only thing changes this name over here, this name over here, and this name over here. Next, I have created a podspec file. Again, this has been copied from docs, and only thing changes this name over here. Next, I have created a JS folder. Inside that I have created a TypeScript file. Again, I have copy pasted everything from docs. Only change is this method name. So as you can see, I have written get all, save, delete and update. So for saving we require a string. For deleting also we require a string, and for updating also we require what string we need to update and what is the updated content. And here I have just changed this name. Everything else is copied from docs. Next, what you have to do is open your terminal, go to the root of your React Native project, and then firstly run this command. Once you do that, you will have to do cd dot dot. Okay, after that run this command. So here in this command, make sure rnapp, so rnapp is my project name, so whatever your project name is, you should replace it with that. So rnapp over here, rnapp over here, rnapp, followed by the folder name which you have created. Once you do that, again you have to cd to your main iOS folder and then run this command. So this will do code generation for the rtn my SwiftData folder which you have created. Next, open iOS folder inside Xcode and make sure you increase the deployment target to at least iOS 17. So you will have to change it, you go to general, change it minimum deployment over here, as well as inside the run app over here as well. Next, you have to create a data model. So I have kept the data model extremely simple. So first it will take an id string and it will take a task name, and we will send the task name from React Native side. So the title which you had seen inside this file, so title. So this is the task name which is present inside the data model. You can pass more data as well from here. So suppose I want to pass date, I want to pass description, that kind of stuff, you can send it from here, and you can add it over here as well. I want date, I want description. Okay, but just to keep it simple, I have added this task name only field, and id is automatically generated and is unique. So id would be our primary key, and I have initialized this. Next, you have to create a data service class. So this will contain everything. So like this is kind of like a singleton class, and this will contain all the operations of reading up of all the CRUD operations basically. So this will create our singleton. Next, we have to import obviously import SwiftData, and here we have to define our model container and model context. Now this is boilerplate code of initialization. So first we have this schema of to do model. If you add more models, then you can add it over here, as this is an array. Next, we have to create a model configuration where we have to pass our schema, and is stored in memory only, we have to keep it as false. Next, we have to initialize our container. So create model container which requires a schema as well as it requires model configuration. And once we get the container, I'm initializing our context which requires the container. So equal to model context of container. Now to save any task, we are requiring the string, right, task name. Same we have defined it on the TypeScript side as well. So if we have a task, we just have to pass the id. So here I am generating a random uuid, and I'm just passing the task name which you send it from the React Native side, and I'm inserting inside using the context. Similarly, for fetch task, you will have to use fetch descriptor of to do model, and here we just have to call context.fetch of descriptor, and here it will send whatever data has been present inside your SwiftData database. Then for updating tasks, so I have just a task model as well as a new task name. So I'm first finding what task needs to be updated, and here we just have to call task updated task name equal to new task name. So that's how simple it is. And for deleting a task, like just let task to be deleted equal to task, and just call the delete method on it. So this is what we have defined. Next, I have defined this header class because while getting all the contents from SwiftData, we need to send it back to React Native side, right? So that's why I have defined this event emitter class. Like this, if you have watched my previous video, like this is not related to SwiftData, but if you have watched my previous video, that's how I send data from native side to React Native side, and it is pretty simple. So that's what this class is all about, and to be honest, I have just copy pasted this from Stack Overflow. Next, I have created an Objective-C file. Again, this has been created copied from Stack Overflow as well. So yeah, you can just copy this. Next, you have to create an header file of RTN my SwiftData. Now this has been copied from Turbo modules. So all the thing which has been changed is just change this name to RTN my SwiftData, or whatever folder name you have given it on the React Native side. Next, this name should be changed, and this name should be changed. Everything else remains the same. Next, you have to create an Objective-C file, and make sure you change the extension to .mm. So as you can see, the extension is .mm. Next, again, this has been copied from docs. First we are importing foundation, then we are importing our header file, then we are importing our bridging header file. So how to get this bridging header file? So what you can do is, as soon as you created this to do model or database service, Xcode might have asked you, do you want to create a bridging header? Just click on yes. So here you can see my bridging header name is rnapp-bridging-header. So rnapp is the main name. So whatever your bridging header name is, put it over here, followed by -swift.h. Also inside your bridging header, make sure you add this import as well. So yeah, coming back to our Objective-C++ file. Next, this has been copied from docs, only this name has been changed. Here we are initializing our Swift file. Again, this has been copied from docs, only this name has been changed. So here we are now overriding all the methods which we have defined on the TypeScript file. So for delete item, I'm just calling delete item. So this method is been defined in the Swift file, and I'm just passing the title. Similarly, this method has been defined in the Swift file. This method has been defined in the Swift file, and this as well. And these are just overridden methods which we have defined on the TypeScript file. Next, so my Swift data contains the actual implementation of it. I'm not sure if Swift data is, I don't think Swift data is like you can write code in Objective C. That's why I have like we are jumping like hoops from Objective C to Swift, because React Native's new architecture directly does not support Swift. So that's the main issue. In future it might, but at the time of this recording it does not. So first what I have done is that I have created our service class singleton. Then I have defined two tasks. So this is for data to do a model for Swift side, and this is for our React Native side. So we will send, once we get all the data, we will send it to React Native. So I am calling get all, which is calling the fetch data method. For save item we are just calling service.save task and just passing the title. Then we are again calling fetch data. Similarly for delete item, I am first finding what item needs to be deleted depending on the title. So your title should be unique. Like if you have same titles multiple time, it will just find the first title. Okay, and here once we get the title, we are just calling delete task as well and deleting the particular task, and then calling fetch data. Similarly for update item as well, I'm just calling title and update title, and here you can see I'm calling task.firstIndex, where finding the title, and once I get the appropriate title, I'm getting its indexed, passing it to our task, and the new task name is updated title. And for fetching all the data, I'm first clearing out our array, then I'm calling fetch task, which will give us data as well as error. If there are any error, then print it to the console. If there is some data, then I'm assigning it to our task, then I'm for looping it over our data and appending to our str task, because this is a string, right? This is a to do model, so we can directly append it, but this is a string, that's why I have to append it like this. Next I'm using json encoder.encode and self.str task name, and this is the code for actually sending the data back to React Native side. So this will send us the entire list in a form of string to React Native side. Now all you have to do it on the React Native side is go to your app.tsx. So all I have done is as you can see, I have first defined an event emitter to listen to the events from native side. Then I have defined this set text and my text for our text field, as well as a list for showing it inside the flash list. So as soon as use effect is called, I am calling the read item to fetch if there are any items in the inside our Swift data. And here we are listening for date like once you try to do any kind of CRUD operation, it will send us the updated data back. So I'm updating it over here. And this is for add item method which I have defined. This is for update item, so you can add the import something like this. And this is for add, this is for update. So here you can see I'm passing the text, and this is like updated text is always this, but you can change it however you want to. And this is the delete item, and this is for reading the item. Now inside over here I have just defined a text input with the on change text and value as my text, and I have defined 4 buttons, and I have called the appropriate methods for it. Okay, delete item and read item, and this is our flash list which I have defined. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.